Welcome to Scary Mary Asia. Salem, Massachusetts. Shadows of the Witch Trials. The town of Salem, Massachusetts, looks ordinary at first. Wooden houses with colonial trim. Narrow streets lined with lanterns. A harbor where fishing boats rock against the tide. But Salem is not ordinary. It is a place where the past presses close to close. A place where whispers from 1692 still drift between the brick walls and crooked gravestones. Here, history and haunting blur together. When night falls on Salem, the line between the living and the dead is not so clear. In the bitter winter of 1692, a spark of fear was struck in Salem Village. Just a few miles inland from the port, two young girls, Elizabeth Parris and Abigail Williams, the daughter and niece of the local minister, began to convulse, scream, and claim unseen hands were pinching and choking them. Doctors found no illness they could name, and so the explanation became something darker: witchcraft. Accusations spread like wildfire. Neighbors turned against neighbors. Even the most respected townsfolk were not safe. Once accused, it was nearly impossible to prove innocence. By the time it was over, more than 200 were accused. 19 were hanged. One, Giles Corey, was pressed to death beneath heavy stones. And still, the fear lingered. They say the ground in Salem was stained not only with injustice, but with restless souls who could not move on. The old Bearing Point Cemetery is one of the oldest graveyards in New England, established in 1637, long before the witch trials. Here, among crumbling gravestones and moss-covered tombs, lie some of Salem's most infamous figures, including Judge John Hathorne, one of the magistrates of the trials. Visitors often describe strange sensations while walking here at dusk. A sudden coldness, as though the air itself is pulling the warmth from your body. Some hear footsteps pacing over gravel when no one is near. Others claim to feel a tug on their clothing, as if someone invisible brushed past. And then there are the whispers. Faint, indistinct, but chilling, as though the dead are still murmuring their defense, still pleading their innocence. Judge Jonathan Corwin lived in a house of dark timber and narrow windows, a house that still stands today, known as the Witch House. Though no trials were held inside its walls, Corwin himself presided over many of the executions. Tour guides say the house retains a heavy presence, a kind of oppressive silence that makes visitors lower their voices without realizing why. Some report cold spots in the corners of its rooms, places where the temperature plummets even in summer. Others hear whispers echoing up the wooden staircases, and many insist they feel watched, as though the judge himself, or perhaps those he condemned, are still there, silently observing. It is not difficult to imagine the innocent spirits following him home, lingering at his doorstep, waiting for his judgment to be overturned in death. The accused witches haunt more than just stories. Their presence is tied to places across Salem. Bridget Bishop, the first woman executed, was known to be outspoken and independent, qualities that made her a target. Today, her restless spirit is said to appear near Turner Street, where her tavern once stood. Witnesses describe a woman in a long red cloak, her figure vanishing when approached. Gallows Hill, where executions were carried out, remains a place of dread. The land is quiet, but visitors have reported hearing phantoms sobbing on the wind, ropes creaking, though no tree sways, and at times, the fleeting shadow of figures at dusk, swaying as though suspended in midair. The jail where many prisoners awaited trial has long since been torn down, but records tell of freezing, filthy conditions. Locals claim that the cries of the accused still echo near the site, as though their despair carved itself into the earth. Salem today embraces its past. Shops sell charms, spellbooks, and souvenirs. Every October, thousands visit for haunted happenings, celebrating both history and Halloween. But beneath the festivals and candlelit tours, Salem's ghosts still stir. Police officers have reported strange calls from empty buildings. Security cameras capture fleeting shapes in the Witch Dungeon Museum. Even hardened skeptics confess that Salem at night feels unsettled. Perhaps it is the sheer weight of history, or perhaps the dead have not forgotten. The Salem witch trials remind us of the danger of fear, hysteria, and unchecked power. The victims lost their lives, their reputations, terra familias. But in a way, they never left. Their stories linger in the streets, in the graveyards, in the old houses with creaking floors. Every cold draft, every echoing footstep, every flicker in the corner of your eye might be Salem, reminding you that the past is still alive. And if you walk those streets after midnight, when the lantern light fades and the harbor fog rolls in, you may feel someone walking just behind you. Don't turn around. In Salem, some eyes belong to the living and some to the dead. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like, share, and comment.